All right, so now we're looking at 13 logical reasoning by type 2 for method argument. So we have Tony. Few anarchists have ever performed violent actions. These few are vastly outnumbered by the violent adherents of other political ideologies. Therefore, the special association in the public mind between anarchism and political violence is unwarranted. All right. Keisha, anarchists have always been few in number, whereas other ideologies have often spawned mass movements. Therefore, the proportion of anarchists who are violent is possibly greater than the proportion of adherents of other ideologies who are violent. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, we have Keisha responds to Tony's argument in which one of the following ways. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is identify what our argument is. So Tony is trying to say that the association between anarchism and violence is unwarranted. And how did we get there? By saying that only few anarchists have performed violent actions and they're outnumbered by adherents of other ideologies. So basically, it's not fair that anarchists have this reputation for having a lot of political violence because there's way more instances of violence from other ideologies. Keisha is responding to that by just saying the proportion of anarchists who are violent is possibly greater. So she's not completely undermining Tony's argument, but she's introducing a new caveat that, sure, maybe there's way more people who are a part of different political ideologies that are doing violent actions compared to the actual number. But when you look at the proportion, it is possible that more people proportionally are anarchists than of other political ideologies. So we're not going against his point. We're just introducing some new information that might change the validity of it. All right. So, A, she shows that Tony's conclusion is questionable, all right, because Tony bases it on a comparison that inappropriately involves absolute numbers rather than proportions. So, A is looking really good. That is what she's saying. She's saying proportions versus actual numbers. She is casting doubt, but she's not outright denying his conclusion. She's not supporting his conclusion. I like that it says conclusion is questionable. Let's leave A. B. She attempts to undermine Tony's conclusion by introducing plausible evidence that is incompatible with the evidence Tony offers in support of that conclusion. Her evidence doesn't go against Tony's evidence, it's just showing the proportions. So B is not it, because she's not saying that Tony's numbers are wrong. She's just saying that he's not necessarily looking at them through the right lens. C. She questions the accuracy of the claims on which Tony bases a conclusion. She does not do this. She's not saying that what he is saying is inaccurate at all. She's just, again, introducing another lens to compare it with. D. She presents evidence that the two groups Tony has compared have no significant qualities in common. Again, we have to ask ourselves, does she do this? Is she showing that they have nothing in common? No, and even if she did, that's not really the problem here. She's saying the problem with Tony's argument is not what he's saying, but just the fact that she's not looking at the proportions. E, she indicates that Tony has adopted questionable criteria for including certain people in the groups he's comparing. Again, does Tony do this? No, she never is saying that and accusing him of creating a weird sample. So our answer is A.